Okay, so get this. Today, we are diving deep into generative AI in pharma, right?
Okay.
Everyone's talking about AI changing everything,
Right.
but get ready for some serious aha moments
Sure.
as we uncover how this could completely revolutionize how we discover new medicines, develop them, the whole thing.
Yeah.
We've got reports, research, McKinsey, BCG, Nature,
Wow.
all the good stuff.
Nice.
And let me tell you, it's juicy. We're talking faster timelines for new drugs, maybe even cheaper medications.
It's not just hype either. This
Really?
is like seriously big stuff.
Okay.
What's fascinating here is the sheer scale of the potential impact.
Yep.
We're not just talking about like small improvements. We're talking a complete overhaul of how new drugs are discovered, tested, even marketed.
Wow. Okay, so we're going deep today.
Yeah, deep.
So we're all on the same page here. Like,
Yeah.
it's not just about speed.
Right.
It's about making the whole process smarter.
Exactly.
And especially in pharma, the stakes are really, really high.
Absolutely.
Like, you're talking about people's lives here.
Think about this. Developing just one new drug
Yeah.
can take over a decade and cost like billions of dollars.
Seriously.
And the failure rate, it's astronomical. So generative AI can't just be fast, it has to be smarter.
Oh, for sure. It's like you're searching for a needle in a haystack, but the haystack is huge GE, and the needle's like, only
Nice.
working. No pressure, AI.
And that's why what's happening right now is so intriguing.
Okay.
Imagine being able to design completely new molecules, being able to predict how proteins fold
Oh, wow.
in ways that we just couldn't do before. This is the power of generative AI.
Wait, is that like that AlphaFold thing I read about?
Yeah.
Where, like, instead of scientists spending years and years in the lab, AI can just be like, hey, here's a shortcut.
Precisely.
Yeah.
AlphaFold by DeepMind is a perfect example of this, right?
Okay.
Predicting protein structures with incredible accuracy,
Wow.
accelerating research significantly.
So instead of, like, just randomly testing things in a lab,
yeah.
AI is like giving them a cheat sheet or something.
Shit's a game changer, and it goes beyond just speed, too.
Okay, so what else?
One area where AI is already having a big impact, indication selection, figuring out what a drug is actually good for.
Oh, right, because sometimes a drug that's supposed to be for one thing
Right.
turns out to work for something totally different.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Traditionally, that process, super resource intensive and often disappointing. But now, AI can look at these massive data sets, including real-world data like doctor's visits and insurance claims, to identify new uses for existing drugs, sometimes in really surprising ways.
So AI could, like, tell us that a drug for, say, migraines might actually work for, I don't know, arthritis, just based on real patient data.
It sounds crazy, but it's becoming a reality.
That's wild. Okay, so we've got AI designing molecules and, like, uncovering these hidden uses for drugs that already exist. What's
Wow.
next? What about clinical trials?
Yeah.
Those always seem to be the biggest hurdle, to actually getting treatments to the people who need them.
You're totally right.
Yeah.
Clinical trials are often the slowest and most expensive part of making a new drug, definitely a bottleneck.
Makes sense.
But this is another area where generative AI could totally change the game.
Okay, so even if you discover a drug super fast, it still has to go through all that testing, right?
Yeah, and that testing can take years, even if everything goes smoothly.
Wow.
But imagine if we could make the trials themselves, like way more efficient, more targeted,
Quite.
so we could get answers faster.
So how does AI actually do that?
One big challenge is just finding the right people for a trial.
Right.
It can take forever to find enough patients who are even eligible, and even then,
Yeah.
they might not represent the full range of people who might actually use the drug.
Because you need all different kinds of people to know if something's really safe and effective, right? Not just a small group.
Exactly. That's where AI comes in.
Okay.
There's this really cool study from Stanford
Okay.
where researchers made this AI tool called Trial Pathfinder.
Trial Pathfinder. Okay.
It basically looks at data from old trials to see how changing the rules about who can participate might affect things like safety or the overall success of the trial.
Oh, so, like, instead of being super strict about who can get in, AI could say, hey, you can actually include more people without adding more risk.
Exactly.
That's huge.
It's finding that balance, the biggest possible group of people, but without messing up the trial itself.
And AI could also help with how we monitor patients during a trial, right?
For sure.
Like, beyond just the usual stuff.
Traditionally, we've relied on blood tests,
Right, yeah.
questionnaires, checkups every now and then. But what if we could get a much more, constant picture of someone's health?
Okay, you're talking wearables, right? Like a fitness tracker.
Yeah.
but way more advanced.
Exactly. Think digital biomarkers,
Okay. Yeah.
data from wearables, even things like audio recordings,
Right.
analyzed by AI to create a much richer, more detailed picture of how someone's responding to a drug.
So instead of just a few data points, it's like this constant stream of information. And AI can spot problems before they even happen.
It's like having a 24/7 health checkup, but you don't have to go to the doctor all the time.
That's amazing.
And researchers can make decisions faster, potentially.
Wow. Okay, this is blowing my mind.
Yeah.
So we've talked about AI and discovering new drugs and making trials faster, but it seems like this tech could change, like the whole pharmaceutical industry, right? Not just the science part.
Absolutely, and that's what we'll get into next, how generative AI is going to transform everything,
Right.
from manufacturing to supply chains to marketing and customer service, the whole pharmaceutical world.
So we've talked about AI changing how we discover drugs and run trials, but you're saying it goes even beyond that.
Oh yeah, way beyond.
Okay.
How so? Well, at the end of the day, these companies, they're businesses, right?
Right.
They've got factories, supply chains, marketing teams, the whole nine yards.
It's easy to forget that when you're thinking about, like, the science of it all.
Exactly. But AI can optimize all of that stuff too.
Okay, so instead of just focusing on the drugs themselves, AI could help get those drugs to patients faster and more efficiently.
Think about it. AI predicting how much of a drug we need, optimizing the manufacturing process,
Wow.
even personalizing marketing campaigns for individual patients.
Hold on, personalized drug ads. So instead of just seeing whatever's on TV, companies could use AI to show me ads for medications that are actually relevant to me.
It's possible, but we have to be careful here.
Right, of course.
Especially with something as important as healthcare, we need to make sure AI is being used ethically.
I was just thinking that. We have to make sure it benefits everyone, not just the people who can afford it or whatever.
It's about finding that balance between innovation and responsibility, making sure this technology benefits patients and the healthcare system as a whole.
Well said. So where does that leave us then? It sounds like we're just at the beginning of this whole AI revolution in healthcare.
We are, but the potential here is huge.
It is pretty mind-blowing.
We've talked about AI speeding up drug discovery, making clinical trials more efficient, even changing the business side of pharma.
Yeah, and we probably haven't even scratched the surface yet.
Exactly.
It's exciting to think about, you know?
Yeah.
What if AI could help us find cures for diseases that are untreatable today? Or develop personalized medicine tailored to each patient?
It's definitely possible. Who knows, right? As we learn more about the potential of generative AI in healthcare, we have to stay informed, engaged, and curious.
And that's what we're all about here on The Deep Dive. Right, bringing you the most fascinating information about the world around us. So until next time, keep exploring, asking questions, and stay curious.